Good morning, everyone. There's a question I get asked a lot. How do successful people handle failure? And my answer is always the same. They don't handle it. They use it. You see, failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of it. But most people don't see it that way. We're taught to fear failure, to avoid it at all costs. We grow up believing that failure is something to be ashamed of, that if we fail, it means we aren't good enough. But look at any successful person, whether it's Steve Jobs, Oprah Winfrey, or Michael Jordan, and you'll see a pattern. They all failed many times. But instead of stopping, they used failure as feedback. That's the secret. Failure is not a sign that you should stop. It's a sign that you're learning. It's a signal that something needs to be adjusted, refined, improved. Every failure is a lesson disguised as disappointment. Take Thomas Edison. He failed over 1,000 times before inventing the light bulb. But he never said, "I failed 1,000 times." He said, "I found 1,000 ways that didn't work." It's about how you frame failure. If you see it as the end, it will be. But if you see it as part of the journey, then every failure moves you forward. So how do we turn failure into success? First, we have to change our mindset. A growth mindset sees failure as an opportunity, while a fixed mindset sees it as a dead end. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is simple. The ones who succeed see failure as a teacher, not an enemy. Second, we must build resilience. Resilience is not about avoiding failure. It's about getting up after each fall. The truth is, success is not a straight path. It's messy, it's full of setbacks, but those setbacks only define us if we let them. And third, we need to focus on purpose over perfection. The fear of failure often comes from trying to be perfect, but perfection is an illusion. No one starts as an expert. If you have a purpose, a vision, a reason for doing what you do, failure won't stop you, it will shape you. So the next time you fail, don't ask yourself, "Why did this happen to me?" Instead, ask, "What can I learn from this?" Because the moment you change the way you see failure is the moment you turn it into success. This speech is designed to be educational, thought-provoking, and inspiring, just like Simon Sinek's style. Would you like any refinements or additions? Failure is not the opposite of success, it's part of it. Yet, most people believe that success and failure exist on two separate ends of a spectrum. We're taught from a young age that success means winning, getting things right, and achieving our goals, while failure is something to be avoided, feared, or even ashamed of. But that belief is not only incorrect, it's harmful. It creates a mindset that tells us to play it safe, to avoid risks, and to give up when things don't go as planned. Think about the most successful people in the world. Every single one of them has experienced failure, and not just once, over and over again. They didn't succeed despite their failures. They succeeded because of them. Steve Jobs was fired from his own company before coming back to build one of the most valuable brands in history. Oprah Winfrey was told she wasn't fit for television before becoming one of the most influential media personalities in the world. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team before becoming one of the greatest athletes of all time. These stories aren't exceptions. They are proof of a fundamental truth. Failure is an essential ingredient of success. The reason most people struggle with failure is because they see it as the end of the road rather than a step on the journey. When something doesn't go as planned, they take it as a sign that they're not good enough, that they should stop trying, or that success isn't meant for them. But what if we looked at failure differently? What if instead of seeing it as a final result, we saw it as feedback? Failure is simply information. It's telling us what doesn't work so we can adjust, improve, and try again with more knowledge than before. Thomas Edison famously said, "I have not failed, I've just found 1,000 ways that won't work." That mindset is the key to innovation, growth, and success. Every failed attempt brings us one step closer to finding what works. Without failure, there would be no breakthroughs, no progress, and no learning. If we never failed, it would mean we never tried anything new, never pushed our limits, and never discovered our true potential. The real danger isn't failure, it's avoiding failure. When people fear failure, they play small. They choose comfort over growth. They stay in their safe zones, never pushing past what they already know. But growth only happens when we step beyond our comfort zone, and stepping beyond our comfort zone always comes with the risk of failure. Success and failure are not opposites, they are part of the same journey. Every failure carries a lesson, and every lesson brings us closer to where we want to be. The people who succeed aren't the ones who never fail, they're the ones who refuse to let failure define them. Instead, they embrace it, learn from it, and keep moving forward because they understand that every failure is just another step toward success. Every failure carries a lesson, but only if we are willing to see it. The problem is that most people don't look for the lesson. They only see the disappointment, the frustration, and the setback. They see failure as something negative, something to avoid, something that defines them. But failure itself isn't the problem. It's how we react to it that makes the difference. When we fail, we have two choices. We can let it defeat us, or we can use it to grow. The people who succeed are not the ones who avoid failure. They are the ones who learn from it. Think about the first time you tried to do anything difficult, riding a bike, learning a new skill, or even speaking in front of an audience. You probably weren't great at it the first time. You made mistakes, fell, stumbled, and felt frustrated. But what happened next? You learned, you adjusted, you figured out what worked and what didn't, and eventually you improved. That process never stops. No matter how old we are or how successful we become, learning through failure is how we grow in any area of life. The difference between those who improve and those who don't isn't natural talent or luck. It's the ability to see failure as a teacher instead of an enemy. One of the most powerful shifts we can make is to start asking better questions when we fail. Instead of thinking, why did this happen to me? Or what if I'm not good enough? We should be asking, what can I learn from this? Or how can I do this better next time? These questions shift our mindset from one of self-doubt to one of growth. When we see failure as a lesson, we stop being afraid of it. We realize that every mistake, every setback, and every wrong turn is giving us information that will help us move forward. The most successful innovators, leaders, and entrepreneurs thrive because they apply this principle. Walt Disney was fired from his first newspaper job because his editor thought he lacked creativity. If he had taken that failure as proof that he wasn't good enough, he would have never created Disney. Instead, he saw it as an opportunity to improve. J.K. Rowling's first Harry Potter book was rejected by 12 different publishers before it became a worldwide phenomenon. If she had given up after the first, second, or even 11th rejection, the world would have never known one of the most beloved stories of all time. The difference between failure being a roadblock or a stepping stone comes down to perspective. The lesson is always there, but we have to be willing to look for it. If we embrace failure as a learning tool, we take back control. It no longer defines us, it strengthens us. Every failure is an opportunity to grow, refine, and become better than we were before. The lesson is not in avoiding failure, but in using it. The faster we learn, the faster we succeed. The way we think about failure determines how we respond to it. Some people see failure as the end of the road, while others see it as a stepping stone. This difference comes down to mindset. People with a fixed mindset believe that abilities are set in stone. You're either good at something or you're not. If they fail, they take it as proof that they lack the ability to succeed. On the other hand, people with a growth mindset understand that skills and intelligence can be developed. To them, failure isn't proof of incompetence. It's simply part of the learning process. This single mindset shift separates those who grow from those who stay stuck. Imagine a child learning to walk. They don't get it right the first time, or even the second or third. They fall, they stumble, they get back up, and they keep trying. But no child ever says, maybe walking isn't for me. They instinctively understand that failure is not a reason to stop, it's just part of learning. Somewhere along the way, though, many of us lose that understanding. We start believing that if we aren't immediately good at something, we never will be. But this is a lie. Every great skill, every great achievement, every great success is built on a foundation of failure. Take athletes, for example. The best athletes in the world don't just train for success, they train through failure. They analyze their mistakes, adjust their technique, and push their limits every single day. They don't expect perfection, they expect progress. A basketball player who misses a shot doesn't assume they'll never make one. They take another shot and another. Over time, the missed shots become learning experiences that help them develop into world-class performers. The same principle applies to business leaders, artists, scientists, and anyone striving for greatness. A fixed mindset makes failure feel like a personal attack. It makes people afraid to take risks, try new things, or step outside their comfort zones. But growth happens outside of that comfort zone. The moment we embrace the idea that failure is part of learning, everything changes. We stop avoiding challenges and start seeking them out. We stop fearing mistakes and start learning from them. We stop seeing failure as a dead end and start recognizing it as a necessary step towards success. Think about the technology we use today. Every major innovation, from smartphones to self-driving cars, was the result of countless failures. Scientists and engineers don't stop when an experiment fails. They analyze what went wrong, make adjustments, and try again. The reason we enjoy so many technological advancements is because someone saw failure not as a reason to quit, but as a chance to improve.
The way we frame failure in our mind shapes our reality. A growth mindset turns failure into a teacher, while a fixed mindset turns it into a barrier. The choice is ours. If we are willing to embrace failure as part of the journey, we open ourselves up to unlimited potential. Resilience is what separates those who succeed from those who give up. It is not intelligence, talent, or luck that determines success. It is the ability to keep going when things get difficult. Every person who has achieved something significant has faced setbacks, obstacles, and failures along the way. The difference between them and those who quit is that they refuse to stay down. They understood that failure is never final unless you decide to stop trying. Resilience is not about avoiding failure. It is about how you respond to it. Many people believe that failure is a sign they are not capable or that they should move on to something else. But the reality is that failure is often a test. It asks, how badly do you want this? The people who succeed are the ones who answer that question by pushing forward, adjusting their approach, and refusing to give up. Every failure is a lesson, and the more resilient we are, the more we are able to learn from those lessons instead of being discouraged by them. History is filled with examples of people who succeeded because they refused to quit. Abraham Lincoln lost multiple elections before becoming one of the greatest presidents in U.S. history. Walt Disney was told he lacked creativity before building an entertainment empire. Elon Musk's companies nearly collapsed multiple times, but his persistence kept them alive. These stories prove that resilience is the key ingredient in success. It is not about never failing. It is about getting back up every time you do. Resilience is a skill that can be developed. One of the most important ways to build resilience is to reframe failure in your mind. Instead of seeing it as something negative, see it as proof that you are pushing your limits. If you never fail, it means you are staying in your comfort zone and not challenging yourself enough. But the greatest growth happens outside of the comfort zone. The most successful people are those who are willing to take risks, make mistakes, and keep going even when things don't go as planned. Another way to build resilience is to focus on progress rather than perfection. Many people give up because they expect to succeed immediately. When things don't go perfectly, they become discouraged and stop trying. But real success is built step by step. The goal is not to avoid failure. The goal is to keep improving. If you learn something from every mistake, then every failure brings you closer to success. Resilience is about mindset, discipline, and determination. It is about understanding that setbacks are temporary and that failure is only permanent if you choose to stop trying. The road to success is never straight. It is filled with obstacles, detours, and failures. But those who keep going despite the difficulties are the ones who reach their goals. The ability to rise after every fall is what truly defines success. Resilience is not just about surviving failure. It is about using it to grow stronger, smarter, and better than before. Most people quit right before they win. They put in the effort, face challenges, and push through difficulties, but when they hit a major obstacle, they stop. They assume that failure means they're not meant to succeed. But what if they knew how close they were? What if they understood that their biggest failure often comes right before their biggest breakthrough? The truth is, success and failure are not far apart. They are often separated by just one more attempt, one more adjustment, one more step forward. One of the biggest reasons people quit too soon is because they measure success based on immediate results. If they don't see progress fast enough, they assume it's never going to happen. But real success is built over time. It doesn't happen in an instant. A tree doesn't grow overnight, a body doesn't transform after one workout, and a business doesn't succeed after one good idea. The process of success requires patience, persistence, and the ability to keep going even when there's no visible sign of progress. Many people give up when they are just inches away from a breakthrough because they don't realize how close they are. Think about inventors, scientists, and entrepreneurs. The light bulb was not created on the first try. Airplanes did not take flight without multiple failed attempts. Some of the most successful people in history endured failure after failure before finally achieving their goals. The difference between them and those who gave up was that they kept going. They understood that failure was not a stop sign, it was just part of the journey. One of the best examples of this is the story of Sylvester Stallone. Before he became famous for playing Rocky, he was rejected over 1,500 times when trying to sell his script. He was broke, struggling, and could have given up at any moment, but he refused to quit. He believed in his vision, and eventually someone gave him a chance. That one decision changed his entire life. If he had stopped at rejection number 1,000, we would never have known his name. The same principle applies to anyone chasing a goal. The moment you feel like quitting is often the moment when you are closest to success. Many times the frustration, exhaustion, and doubts you feel are signs that you're on the edge of a breakthrough. But if you stop, you'll never know. Success is not about being the smartest or the most talented. It's about being the one who doesn't give up. Every great achievement has a moment where things seem impossible, where quitting seems like the easiest choice. But those who succeed are the ones who push through that moment. They take one more step. They try one more time. Most people quit too soon because they let failure convince them that they are not capable. But failure is not a signal to stop. It's proof that you are on the path. The only way to truly fail is to quit before you reach the finish line. Keep going because you might be closer than you think. Success is never a solo journey. No matter how talented, determined, or hardworking someone is, they cannot achieve greatness alone. The most successful people in the world all have one thing in common. They surround themselves with the right people. The power of community, mentorship, and support plays a crucial role in overcoming failure and turning setbacks into success. Many people believe that success is an individual effort, that if they just work hard enough, they can do it all on their own. But this belief is a mistake. The truth is that no one succeeds in isolation. Every great leader, entrepreneur, athlete, or artist has had mentors, supporters, and a strong network to help them along the way. When failure happens, having the right people around you can make the difference between giving up and pushing forward. One of the most important benefits of surrounding yourself with the right people is perspective. When we fail, we tend to get trapped in our own thoughts. Doubt creeps in, and it becomes easy to believe that we are not capable or that we should give up. But having mentors, peers, or even close friends who believe in us can change everything. They remind us that failure is temporary, that obstacles are normal, and that we have the strength to keep going. The people around us shape the way we see ourselves and our failures. If we surround ourselves with negativity, doubt, and criticism, we will struggle to move forward. But if we build a network of support, encouragement, and wisdom, we gain the strength to persevere. Mentorship is another crucial factor in turning failure into success. Learning from those who have already faced and overcome failure can save years of struggle. A great mentor doesn't just offer advice. They provide guidance based on real experience. They have been through the ups and downs. They understand the challenges, and they can help navigate through obstacles that seem impossible to overcome. Many of the most successful people credit their mentors as one of the biggest reasons they succeeded. Bill Gates had Warren Buffett. Oprah Winfrey had Maya Angelou. Even the greatest minds in history had teachers and advisors who helped shape their paths. The people we surround ourselves with also influence our mindset. If we spend time with people who fear failure, avoid risks, or give up easily, that mindset will rub off on us. But if we surround ourselves with people who embrace challenges, who see failure as a stepping stone, and who push forward no matter what, we will adopt that same mentality. Success is contagious, and being in the right environment makes all the difference. No one achieves greatness alone. The right people can lift us up when we fall, give us the wisdom to learn from failure, and push us to keep going when we feel like quitting. Success is not just about individual effort, it's about the community we build along the way. The strongest foundation for success is not just talent or hard work, but the people we choose to surround ourselves with. Failure is not the end of the road. It is the path to success. Every setback, every mistake, and every disappointment is an opportunity to learn, grow, and improve. The most successful people in history did not avoid failure. They embraced it, learned from it, and kept moving forward. They understood that failure is not a sign to quit, but a lesson to refine their approach. The way we respond to failure determines whether we stay stuck or move ahead. A growth mindset allows us to see failure as feedback rather than defeat. Resilience gives us the strength to rise every time we fall. Persistence ensures that we keep going even when success feels out of reach. And the people we surround ourselves with provide the guidance and support to help us navigate through our challenges. Most people give up too soon, not realizing how close they are to a breakthrough. But failure is never final unless we decide to stop trying. Every great success story is built on moments of doubt, struggle, and failure. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is not talent or luck. It is the ability to push through failure and keep going. So the next time you face failure, don't let it break you, let it build you. Learn from it, adapt, and try again. Because every failure is a step closer to success, and the only way to truly fail is to stop moving forward. Keep going, keep learning, and keep believing. Your greatest success may be just one more attempt away.